Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session of weekly roundup. Myself Nilesh and I will be taking this session. In this session we will cover important development of the last week. So before we start today's session, let's see what we will cover in this session. In this session we will cover 5 main news, 6 quick update and 1 personality in news. In main news, the first main news we will cover is regarding the criminalization in the politics. As ADR report have highlighted, 31% of the Rajya Sabha MPs have declared criminal cases against them. Then second main news is regarding the International Big Cat Alliance. As Bangladesh have officially joined the Big Cat Alliance and it is the 27th member. Then third main news is regarding the DISHA 2.0, which is the scheme related to the access to the justice, and union government have approved DISHA 2.0. Then fourth main news is about global chemicals monitoring program which has been launched recently. And fifth main news is regarding the index of services production. Government have announced that it will launch this in the July. So these are the 5 main news. In personality in news we will cover the Rani Durgavati. So without wasting any time, let's dive into first main news of the day. The first main news of the day is regarding the criminalization in the politics. As we have already discussed, there is ADR report. ADR is the non-profit organization and it gives various reports regarding the politics and various aspects related to it. In this report, they have highlighted that 31% of the Rajya Sabha MPs have various cases, criminal cases against them. And this topic becomes very important for GS paper 2, that is Parliament and state legislatures and their issues, and in GS paper 4, that is ethical concerns and dilemmas in the government, right? So as we have already discussed, this is the development that Rajya Sabha, which is called as the upper house, and where there are significant and very prominent politicians are coming, those have the 31% criminal cases against them. And this report is jointly published by Democratic Reforms Association for the Democratic Reforms, ADR, and National Election Watch. These two are the very important NGOs and they periodically publishes such kind of reports, and they have analyzed and updated criminal, financial and other backgrounds details of the Rajya Sabha MPs, highlighting the criminalization in the politics. So this is the background. Now we'll see what are the various things this report says. Before we see various things said in the report, it is very important to understand that there is increasing power, money and corruption and criminalization in the politics, right? And this is not the very good precedence for the democracy. As we all know, when Subhash Chandra Bose asked for the donation from the people, then people gave their hard-earned money. Even one of the women gave her Mangal Sutra, which is very sacred in Hinduism, to the Netaji for the freedom struggle. That was the commitment and that was the honesty those leaders had. But today this is not the case. In the Netaji's case, there was collection of 80 kilogram of gold and 2 crore rupees back then, which is more than 1000 crore rupees now in the today's time. That much of amount was collected by Netaji just by the people's contribution. But that was because of the honesty and the integrity of the leaders and confidence people had in those leaders. In many instances, when Gandhiji asked people for the donations, many times volunteer used to go and just throw or collect the money from the people, and people never question how this money will be spent because of the honesty, integrity of the leaders of India back then. But this is not the case today, and we'll see various observation in the report which are very concerning. As we have already discussed, there are 69 MPs out of 226 MPs in the Rajya Sabha which have the criminal cases against them. Then secondly, there are serious criminal cases against this 16% of the MPs, which is 36% MPs, and these serious criminal cases include murder, crime against women, corruption, all those cases. So ADR give these serious criminal offenses a definition, and according to it, those are the non-bailable cognizable crime punished by the 5 or more years, encompassing violent act, then crime against women and children, then corruption, electoral violence, and financial loss to the exchequer. So these are the some of the crimes ADR considered as the serious criminal cases, right? And there are 16% of MPs in Rajya Sabha who have such kind of cases against them. Then there is financial might. Around 14% MPs, around 31 MPs sitting in Rajya Sabha are billionaires who have the assets more than 100 crore rupees, right? And average asset of Rajya Sabha MPs is around 115 crore rupees per MP. So you can imagine how much effective these MPs are in the money power, right? So this is one of the very peculiar situation in the politics where people don't have money to have the food 2 times, and then there are MPs who have average assets of around 115 crore per MP in the Rajya Sabha. So these are the some of the key highlights highlighted in the report. Now we will see why there is increasing criminalization in the politics, right? And the first thing is politico-criminal nexus. So this is the mutual dependence for the campaign finance and muscle power in the politics, and it is highlighted by the N.M. Ohra committee in 1993. So they said there is a nexus between politician, then criminals, and then there is bureaucracy. So there is nexus between these 3 organs which are very important for the effective functioning of the democracy. And when there is nexus between politicians, criminals, and the people having the money power, and then there is bureaucracy, then there is impairment of the democracy and its functioning. So such kind of democracy lacks the welfare approach to the laws or the masses of the society or the country. And this was highlighted by the N.M. Ohra committee in 1993, but there have been very less progress regarding to curbing such kind of activities. This is very worrisome. Then there is candidate winnability. So political party prioritize candidates deep pockets and the local influence over the clean records. So what political parties say or think that the candidate should have the probability of winning more over his character or her character, and many times they give the tickets to the candidate who are even the mafias or the criminals or have the large pockets or are having the large assets with them. And by this way the democracy have been eroded over the period of time by the all the political parties, right? And then there is judicial delays, which is also very important factor, because there are cases pending against these politicians and these cases are going very sluggishly and they fail to adequately deter the criminals, right? So there are around 5.5 crore cases pending over the 3 tier of judiciary in India, And if such large cases are pending, then there will be no deterrence to the criminals to contesting the election, right? So there are cases, around 28% cases are actually older than the 5 years. So you can imagine these cases are older than 5 years, and if 28% cases are older than 5 years, then how can these candidates or these criminal people can be avoided from coming into the politics, right? This is the one of the thing. And please see this figure, around 45% of the MLAs across India have declared the criminal cases against them. Isn't is a staggering number. And in present Lok Sabha, around 46% candidate or MPs, or the number is 151 MPs out of 543 MPs have the criminal cases against them. So if such a large number of people having the criminal cases against them, will they ever pass any resolution or the law regarding the curbing the entrance of the criminals in the politics? No, they will never, because they themselves are beneficiary of such loopholes in the law. And that is why it is very important to curb the political criminalization of politics and coming of the criminals in the politics, so that the polity will be welfare oriented, right? So these are the some of the issues which is leading to the criminalization of the politics, right? So it is not like that the government is not taking action. Government have taken actions over the period of time, and first of this thing is legislative and institutional steps. So which are the steps taken by the government? In the legislature, there is section 8 of the Representation of the People's Act 1951, which disqualifies convicted representative from holding the office, right? And then there is section 33A of the Representation of People of Act of 1951, which requires pending cases affidavit to be submitted, right? Also, there is very stringent provisions under section 8. The question has been directly asked in the UPSC, and that is why it becomes very important. Please give the attention. So 8 subclause 1, 8 subclause 2, section 8 subclause 3. So all these three causes are actually related to the disqualification of the candidate on the basis of the various offenses committed by them. In 8 subclause 1, if there are some of the cases pending against them, they can be disqualified, right? And which are those cases which are pending against them? So this is described in the section 123 of the RPA 1951. So it is mentioned in the section 123 in RPA, and then there is mention of the corruption, graft, and all such cases, right? This is the one thing. Then section 8 subclause 2 mention some of the cases which have the imprisonment more than 6 months. So in that case also the person can be disqualified. And then this 8 subclause 3, which is very important, if person is convicted of the crime which have the minimum punishment of the 5 years or more, that person will be directly disqualified, and his membership will be disabandoned from that period, and he will be disqualified for the 6 years from contesting any election in India. So this is very important. Please remember that. You can quote such of the things. Then there is constitutional provisions also, right? So there are constitutional provisions related to it. So article 84, article 173, then article 102 and article 192. This article also talks about various crimes and eligibility of the candidates in the elections in the Lok Sabha and state legislature. So this is also very important. Then there are various committees and commissions and which have given various recommendations. So Which are those committees and commissions? So first important committee is Goswami Committee in 1990, which is related to the electoral reforms. So you can quote this committee in the electoral reforms also. And then there is Law Commission report of 170th and 244th report, which also talks about criminalization of politics. And then second ARC, which is in the 2008, all those have suggested mandatory disclosure and barring of those candidates who have been charged with the serious offenses, right? Then there is judicial pronouncement. So the first important case is ADR case of 2002, which mandated the disclosing of the criminal antecedent and the assets. Then there is very important case, Lily Thomas case of 2013, and where Supreme Court struck down the RPA section 8.4 for the immediate disqualification. And then there is Public Interest Foundation case of 2019, which mandated publishing criminal records of those candidates by the Election Commission. So all these cases you can mention. And very importantly, there is a Nolan principles. So there are 7 principles which can be very important, which is having various important points such as integrity, right? Then honesty, then openness. All those points can be way forward for the reduced criminalization in the politics and having the clean politicians in our legislatures and the parliament. So this is all about the criminalization in the politics. This topic is very important. Question can be asked in the mains and also in the GS4, that is ethics, and also the essay can be asked on it. So this is very enriching topic. You can write the answer. Let's see the previous year question asked regarding it. Please see this question. It is often said that politics and ethics do not go together. What is your opinion in this regard? Justify your answer with the illustrations. So when you are answering the question related to ethics, just please remember that try to bring the various angles in your answer. Don't keep your answer very one-dimensional. So here you can say, what happens when politics and ethics go together, and you can give the very good example. Then you can also say what happens when politics and ethics are not together, so unethical politician. So you can mention corruption and all those things. And then you can say that if politics, ethics and other values comes together, then there will be a prominent democracy for the welfare state. So you can give such of the various angles and give various examples related to it, and it can lead to the very good answer. Then see this question. Process of holding public office should be marked by the highest standard of integrity and accountability. As we have already discussed, you can mention all those points and examples. Here you can also mention Nolan principles, right, in your answer, and you can give the very good answer. So this is all about the first main news. Now we'll see the second main news of the day. And the second main news of the day is related to the International Big Cat Alliance, which is the initiative of the government of India, and Bangladesh have joined it, and it is the 27th member of International Big Cat Alliance, IBCA. And this is very important for GS paper 3, that is biodiversity conservation, right? So without wasting any time, let's dive into the news. As we have already discussed it, the Bangladesh is the 27th member who have joined it. And what are the big cats? So big cats are the apex predators that maintain the ecological balance by regulating prey populations and preserving the healthy ecosystem. So what are the apex predators? Apex predator are the highest highest predators and highest in the food cycle, right? So what does it mean? So this is the food cycle. Here there are plants, then here are herbivorous, then there is primary herbivorous, primary predators, and then these are apex predators. So here there are various plants, then herbivores such as deer and all those animals, and then primary predators such as fox, then snakes, and then apex predators such as lions and tigers and leopards and all those animals. So these are the apex predators, and many times what happens, these apex predators are also keystone species. What are keystone species? So keystone species are those species which are very important for any biome or ecology, and without them that biome or ecology can collapse. Such species such as elephants, and many times these apex predators, tigers, lions, even leopards, all those are also the keystone species. So please remember these some of the concepts which are very important for your exam, and question can be asked in the prelims related to it. Now we'll see about the International Big Cat Alliance, right? So this was the alliance proposed by Indian Prime Minister in 2019, but it came into existence in 2023. And why in 2023? So it was marking the 50th anniversary of Project Tiger, right? So this is the significance, and that is why it came into force in the 2023. This is the India led alliance. So Genesis, it is the multi-country, multi-agency coalition of 95 big cat range countries, non-range countries, launched by the India in 2023 to commemorate the 50 years of India's Project Tiger, as we already discussed. And which are the species? So there are 7 species, right? And which are those 7 big cats? So tiger, lion, leopard, snow leopard, cheetah, jaguar and puma. Please remember that jaguar and puma does not found naturally in India. So this is also a very important thing. And what is the objective? To facilitate the collaboration and synergy among the stakeholders and consolidating the successful conservation practices and expertise into the centralized repository. So this is the objective. And which is the nodal agency? Please remember that National Tiger Conservation Authority, NTCA, under the Ministry of Environment is the nodal agency, and its headquarters in New Delhi, India. So there was a scheduled first summit of the IBCA on 1st June 2026, which have been postponed due to the Ebola pandemic in the DR Congo and other countries in the Africa. And because there are various countries from Africa which are the part of the IBCA, this summit have been postponed and the next date will be announced. So this is also very important development which you should know related to IBCA, right? So I hope it is clear to you. Now we'll see these 7 big cats, their conservation status, and what is their status or availability in India. As we already discussed, jaguar and puma are not found in India. So let's see about the tiger. So please remember that only a tiger is endangered in the IUCN status, and it is in the appendix 1 of the site status. And please remember all the 7 big cats are in appendix 1 of the sites. So this is also very important, and it is in the schedule 1 and the schedule 4 of the WPA Amendment Act of 2022. Please remember that in original act of 1973 it was in the schedule 1 only, but the schedules have been changed and the previously it had 6 schedules, now it have the 4 schedules, and the 4th schedule is totally dedicated to the site status animals, and all the animals which are included in the site list are automatically in the schedule 4. So please remember, and that is why if even the animal is not covered in any other schedule but it is covered in the site, it is automatically in the schedule 4 of the WPA Amendment Act of 2022. So this is very major change. Many times students tend to forget this thing, so please remember this. Then there is lion, and lion is vulnerable in the IUCN list, and it is in Appendix 1, and only population of India are in the Appendix 1 and the other lion populations are in Appendix 2. So this is also very important and you should remember that. And it is also in Schedule 1 and Schedule 4 as it is in the appendix of the site. So it will be in the Schedule 4 automatically. Then there is leopard, and it is in the vulnerable category of IUCN and it is in Appendix 1. Snow leopard also vulnerable category in the IUCN and Appendix 1 of the site, and same for the cheetah. It is vulnerable in the IUCN status and in the Appendix 1 also. And all leopard, snow leopard and the cheetah, all these 3 big cats are in the Schedule 1 and the Schedule 4 of the Wildlife Protection Act, Amendment Act of 2022. Then there is jaguar and puma, as we already discussed. These animals do not found in India, and that is why they are not part of Schedule 1 or Schedule 2, but they are part of Schedule 4 because they are enlisted in the CITES appendixes, and that is why they are in Schedule 4. And the jaguar is least concern in the IUCN status list, and puma is least concern in the IUCN status, and jaguar is in Appendix 1 and puma is also in Appendix 1, but only the population of Costa Rica and Panama are in the Appendix 1 and all other population are included in Appendix 2, which is related to puma. So this is all about the conservation status of these 7 big cats, and their scientific names are also given. Please remember that the UPSC have a tendency to ask the question related to the animals, and these 7 animals are very important. Also please remember that I have already told you that many animals which may be in the Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and it can be also in the Schedule 4 automatically, because if it is part of the site, because the Schedule 4th is now totally dedicated to the animals or the other species which are in the appendices of the sites. So please remember this fact, and this is very important for you guys, right? So this is all about the big cats and their conservation status. Now we'll see the question related to it. The first question is from the 2012. Consider the following: black neck crane, cheetah, flying squirrel and the snow leopard. Which of the above are naturally found in India? So cheetah was naturally found in India till 1950s. Then it got extinct in India. But this question is from the 2012, and by then cheetah was not reintroduced into India and Indian forest, but now it is introduced. So today the answer is D, that 1, 2, 3 and 4. But originally when this question was asked, so the original answer was A, because then cheetah was not found naturally in India, but now it can be found because of the Project Cheetah. Because of that, there are cheetahs in the Kuno National Park of the Madhya Pradesh, right? So this is the correct answer. Please see this question also. Consider the following statement: Asiatic lion is naturally found in India only, right? So this is the correct answer. Double hump camel is naturally found in India only. So this question, these camels are called as Bactrian camels also, and these camels that year took part in the Republic Day parade of India, and those are not from India. So this was not correct. The double hump camel is naturally found in India only. So this is not correct. So second is not correct, and one horn rhinos is naturally found in India only. This is also not correct. So answer is A, that is only one. So this is about this question. Let's see the next question also. So this question is also regarding the lion, and see this question: lion do not have the particular breeding season. So this is true statement. They do not have particular breeding season. Then unlike most other cats, cheetah do not roar. This is also a correct statement. And then unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. So generally all the big cats mark their territory by scent marking. So this is the wrong statement. Answer is A, that is 1 and 2 only. So this is all about the second main news of the day. Now we'll see the third main news of the day. And what is the third main news of the day? So Union government have approved the DISHA 2.0, and DISHA is standing for the designing innovative solutions for the holistic access to the justice. And access to the justice is very important, and it have given very important place in the Indian Constitution also, right? And it is very important for paper 2, that is government policies and schemes, right? So without wasting any time, let's dive into the background. So background is that DISHA 2.0 seeks to expand the access to the justice by integrating legal aid, legal awareness, and the pro bono services with the digital and AI enabled delivery systems. So there was DISHA 1 for the period of 2021 to 2026, and DISHA 2 is built upon the DISHA scheme, which was implemented in 2021 to 2026, right? And DISHA scheme had achieved the cumulative outreach of over 2.37 crore beneficiaries by the May 2026. And DISHA fulfills commitment to access to the justice as outlined in the Articles 14, that right to equality, Article 21, that is right to life, and which scope have been improved and widened over the period of time by the judiciary. And then it have also included the right to legal aid and justice, right? And then there is this DPSP 39A, that is free legal aid of the Constitution, and supports the implementation of the SDG goal 16, which focuses on peace, justice, and strong institutions. So this is about it. Now we'll see why there is need and what are the various problems in Indian judiciary, and that is why the various initiatives are needed. So firstly, as we already discussed it, that there is huge pendency of the cases, and one of the reason is lack of judges per population. So we right now have 21 judges per million population, and 120th report of Law Commission suggests that this number should be 50 or more per million population. So this is one of the problem. 120th Law Commission suggested that it should be around 50 or more per million population. So this is one of the thing. Then there is one of the very important aspect, that is institutional problems, such as there is no digitalization, there is no records, and there are multiple duplication of the cases. That is also one of the important thing. Then there is infrastructure. So there is no proper infrastructure, staff is very limited, and there is no even basic amenities such as toilets in the lower judiciary. This is also very important and affects the legal aid and the effective judicial intervention in various aspects, right? Then there is government as major litigant. Around 50% cases the government is litigant here, right? Then there is management. So there is no proper management. These cases have the duplicity, various cases regarding the one issue. Also there is no merging of the various cases which are the similar in the nature. All those things are also there. So these are the some of the issues which are there in the judiciary. Then there is other issues such as lack of judges or vacancy of the judges, all those things are also there. So these are some of the issues, and because of these issues there are pendency of cases which we saw in the first main news of the day, right? Now we'll see the various component of the DISHA 2.0. So which are the various components? So firstly we'll see the type, and the type is central sector scheme. Then implementation agency is Department of Justice, Ministry of Law and Justice, and its duration will be 5 years from 1st April 2026 till the 31st March 2031, right? And financial outlay is around 255 crore rupees. And there are 4 components of the DISHA 2.0. Please remember that DISHA 1 had the 3 components. It have the 1 extra component. The first component is tele law, which provides the free and pre-litigation legal advice, which was also part of DISHA. Then Nyaya Bandhu, and which promotes the pro bono culture by connecting the marginalized citizens, enabling under the Legal Services Authority Act 1987. And then there is legal literacy and awareness, spread legal awareness and literacy through the partnership with the ministries, department and civil society organization and NGOs, etc. and other organization. So these are the 3 components which was there in the DISHA 1.0 scheme. Now this vision for the integrated delivery and harmonized legal initiatives, Sanjeevani, a centralized digital platform introduced as the 4th component for the end-to-end program monitoring and the data-driven decision making, have been added in the DISHA 2.0. So these are the 4 components of the DISHA 2.0. I hope it is clear to you. Now we'll see the various other initiatives taken by the government and judiciary to strengthen the judicial and the legal delivery systems. The first is e-courts mission mode project, and it aimed to leverage the information communication technology in the judiciary. Then there is National Judicial Data Grid, and this actually provide us centralized online repository of the judicial data in India. And then AI assisted tool like SUPES, Supreme Court portal for assistance in the court's efficiency. And then there is SUVAS, Supreme Court Vidhik Anuvad software, etc. So these are the various initiatives. And then there is National Judicial Infrastructure Agency, which was proposed by the Chief Justice of India in 2021, which is also very important in this aspect. Such kind of things can be implemented to improve the efficiency and the infrastructure in the judiciary. It was Ramanna, right? So this is about all of this news. Now we'll see the related question about it. So please see this question. With reference to the National Legal Services Authority, consider the following statements. Its objective to provide the free and the competent legal services to the weaker sections of the society on the basis of equal opportunity. So this is true. It issues guidelines for the state legal services authorities to implement the legal programs and schemes throughout the country. Both these answers are correct. So answer is C, that is both 1 and 2 statement are correct, right? Now we'll see the next question. So this question I will recommend you to solve at the home and give the answer in the comment section. Please remember that. Just see this, all senior citizens. So there, when you will see this statement, you will remember that all senior citizens may be very wealthy, such as Tata Birla and all those people who will be also part of the senior citizens. So government will not be keen to give the free legal aid to all the senior citizens. So prima facie this statement is wrong. So B and D may be wrong. So I have given one hint to you. On this basis you can solve the question, right? And such kind of tricks you can use in your examination to eliminate the incorrect options, right? So this is about it. Please give the correct answer in the comment section. Now we'll see the fourth main news of the day, and the fourth main news of the day is regarding the global chemicals monitoring program, GCMP, which have been launched, right? And this is very important for GS paper 3, that is related to the environmental conservation, right? So what is the development? As we already discussed, CGMP has been launched by the UN Environment Program, UNEP, and the Global Environment Facility. Both these organizations and facilities are very important. Please see their details. To support the evaluation of the effectiveness of the Stockholm Convention on the POPs. POPs are persistent organic pollutants, and Minamata Convention, which is related to mercury. So this is about it. We'll see this Minamata Convention and Stockholm Convention in details in the next slide. So firstly we will see what is the Stockholm Convention on the persistent organic pollutants. So what is this persistent organic pollutants? So we'll see that the persistent organic pollutants are the organic compounds which consist of the carbon. Organic compounds means the compound which have the carbon in their composition, and they are persistent. They do not degrade over the period of time very easily, and they can be accumulated in the body and can have the toxic effect on the human and the other environmental living beings. So this is the persistent organic compounds, such as pesticides, herbicides. Then there are various industrial compounds. Those are the part of this, such as there are DDT, you might be knowing this, to repel the mosquitoes and all that. In the agriculture it is used. So this is also example of POP, right? And the Stockholm Convention was adopted in the Stockholm, Sweden in 2001 and entered into the force in 2004, and India have ratified it in 2006, but utilize the opt-out clauses. What is the opt-out clause? So India have ratified it, but only any new amendment or in the POP may not be automatically bind to India, and India have to ratify that also. So it will be applied to the India for the POPs which was included till the 2006, and any POP added after that, India have to ratify it separately, or it will be not bind to the India, right? Then there is Minamata Convention on mercury. Please remember that any proportion of mercury is not advisable for the human beings. In human body there should be no mercury at all, because there is no benefits of the mercury to the humans, but there are various effect on the human body of the mercury, right? So WHO do not recommend any part of mercury to the humans. So please remember that this is legally binding treaty to protect from the adverse effect of mercury. It targets the entire life cycle of the mercury from mining to the waste disposable, and it was adopted in 2013 in Kumamoto, Japan, and entered into the force in 2017, and India have ratified it in 2018. So this is about these two important conventions. Please remember that. Now we'll see about the GCMP. So what is the aim? As we already discussed, reduce the global pollution while strengthening the developing countries' capacity to monitor hazardous chemicals and support the evidence-based policy making to dispose these chemicals or to reduce these chemicals. Then there is financing. So US 23.5 millions will be allocated for this initiative and financed by the GEF and backed by the US 50 million in the co-financing, right? And then GAP was established during 1992 Rio Earth Summit and serve as the financial mechanism for 5 international environmental convention. And which are those 5 environmental convention? Firstly, Minamata Convention, then Stockholm Convention on POPs, then UN Convention on the biological diversity, then UN Convention to combat desertification, and UNFCCC, that is climate change, right? Then the projects, it will have the 6 projects and will generate the robust scientific evidence on chemical pollution, improve data to inform the policy development and strengthening cooperation, right? So this is all about the GCMP. Now we'll see about the POPs and the mercury. As we have already saw, POPs are the toxic carbon-based synthetic chemicals, substances that resist the environmental degradation, right? And mercury is naturally occurring element having the toxic effects on the nervous, digestive, and the immune system, such as and other organs such as lungs, kidneys, skin, and eyes, right? All those things, and also nervous system is getting very affected by the mercury. So this is all about this main news. Now we'll see the question related to it. So please see this question. Consider the following statements. This question was asked in the 2023 prelims. The gold mining activity is a source of mercury pollution in the world, and this is the correct statement. Then coal-based thermal power plants causes the mercury pollution, and then there is no known safe level of exposure to the mercury. Haven't we discussed this? That third statement is also correct. Second statement is also correct. So answer is all 3 are correct, right? So answer is 3, right? So this way you can solve the questions. Now see this question. With reference to the global environment facility, which of the following statements are correct? And I will urge you to give the answer in the comment section of this. So you will give the answer of the third main news and the fourth main news, right? Now we'll see the next main news of the day. And next main news of the day is regarding the index of services production, ISP, and government will be launching it in the next month. So this is very important for GS paper 3, that is Indian economy and planning, right? So there are various indices, and these indices can be important to you. So you have to also tell me that WPA is getting replaced by the one of the index in the next year. So please give the name of that index, right? So let us discuss about the index of services production. As we already discussed that Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation will launch the ISP on the 14th July, which will cover the formal services sector. Please remember this word, formal services sector, not all the services, only formal services sector. And services sector is the dominant force in the Indian economy, contributing over about 55% of the gross value added in the financial year 2025. Also, it is very important that service sector is very important for the economy because it have always contributed more than 50% to the gross value added to the Indian economy from year 2013-14 till today. So that is why services become very important, and for the effective policy making and implementation, there should be an index which will measure the services growth and their various issues, and that is why this index becomes very important, right? So I hope it is clear to you. Now we'll see the various components about the index of services production, ISP. So it is a short-term indicator designed to measure changes over the time in the volume of output produced by the services sector relative to specific base year. And in this case, base year will be 2024, 2025. What is the base year? So basically the inflation is addressed by adjusting the gross value added to the base year value. And base year is generally the year here there is no high inflation or the low inflation. These other indicators are very stable, and in that case it can lead to the correct accurate values, right? For this case the base year is 2024, 2025, right? Then it is the counterpart of the index of industrial production, which measure the industrial sector growth, and this will now measure the services sector growth. So comprehensively, these two sectors actually form the majority of the production in India, and also agriculture is also there, right? Then there is, what is the frequency? So it will be released on the trial monthly basis. So it will be on the monthly basis for the year 2025 2026, and also for the April 2026. And firstly it will be released on the July 14th, and thereafter regular release will be made with the lag of 60 days on the 29th day of every month. Please remember that the 29th day of the every month it will be released, and there will be lag of 60 days, right? So this is about it. Now we'll see that major data sources. So for any index there is a data source, and on that data source that index will be for, and for this there will be three data sources. Firstly, administrative and secondary data for ISP of air transport, railway transport, banking and insurance. Then there is GST data for the wholesale trade, retail trade and repair maintenance, etc. And then there is annual survey of incorporated services sector enterprises, ASI SSC data for the health and education excluding the government sectors. So why there is government sectors are not added in it? So we'll see it in the next slide. So there are services that are not covered in this index. Why some services are not covered in the index of services? So there is one of the issue with all the services, right? So what is this issue? So basically this public administration and defense, financial services excluding banking and insurance. So banking and insurance will be added, but other financial services will not be added, because these are not for the commercial purposes, right? So these services are not for commercial purposes. Defense is not for the commercial purpose. So these are not for the commercial purposes, and it is not right to calculate these services, because these are the welfare measures or the obligations of the government, and that is why these services will not be calculated. Then also social work activities without the accommodation will not be calculated. Then personal services activities of private household with the employed persons will not be calculated. Gambling and betting activities will not be calculated, and depleters. So please remember that these services will not be calculated, and the question can be asked that which services will not be calculated, right? And also unorganized service sector also will not be calculated. And which are the depleters? For the wholesale price index for the wholesale trade, sector specific consumer price index CPI, and CPI general for the banking and insurance, and CPI non-food, right? Insurance and CPI non-food. So these will be depleters for the ISP. So this is all about it. I hope it is clear to you. Now we'll see the question asked in the UPSC. Please see this question which is asked in the 2020, and this question is asking about the weightage of the food and consumer price index is higher than the wholesale price index. As we already know that obviously CPI will have the higher food weightage, because it is related to the consumers, right? And this statement is correct. WPI does not capture the changes in the prices of services. Services are not calculated in WPI. This is also true. And Reserve Bank of India has now adopted WPI as its key measure of inflation and decide on changing the key policy rates such as repo rates and all that. This statement is not. CPI is actually a policy indicator. So answer is A, that is 1 and 2 only. So this is about the previous year question related to 5th min news. Now we'll see the personality in news, and this week's personality is Rani Durgavati, and Union Home Minister have paid tribute to the Rani Durgavati on her martyrdom day on the 24th June. And this is very important. On 24th June 1564, Rani Durgavati got the martyrdom fighting against the Mughal forces. So this is the story of resilience, and this is why it becomes very important. In the medieval India, there were very few female warriors and the leaders who actually rule the country very effectively, or the various part of the country. Rajya Sultana is one of the name, then Rani Durgavati, right? Then Maharani Taravati of Maratha kingdom. Also, there are Holkar dynasty person who was also important. So you have to give the name of the queen from the Holkar dynasty who ruled in the medieval India in the comment section, right? So these are the some of the very important rulers in the medieval India, women rulers in medieval India who resolutely lead the administration in the medieval states or the medieval princely kingdoms. So we'll see about the Rani Durgavati here. She was born in the fort of Kalinjar of Banda district of UP, and a descendant of Chandela dynasty of Mahoba. So this is very important. Then she was married to Dalpat Shah, the son of the Gond king Sangram Shah of Karha Katanga. So please remember that the Dalpat Shah died very early, and that is why it became the important for the Rani Durgavati to take the charge of the kingdom. And she died by suicide during the invasion led by the Mughal governor of Kara Manikpur, Asaf Khan, in 1564. Please remember that Asaf Khan was defeated by her in 1560, but in later invasion she could not match the efforts and the power of the Mughal forces, right? What are the key contribution of the Rani Durgavati? So she was a very effective administrator, and after Dalpat Shah's death in 1548, she installed Bir Narayan, her son, on the throne and became the de facto ruler and effectively ruled the administration. Then there is prosperity in the kingdom. So it is said that people paid taxes on the gold coins and elephants. So you can imagine the prosperity in the kingdom. Then there she built various reservoirs such as Ranital, Cherital and the Adhartal, right? So these are the reservoirs she built. And patron of learning, so she allowed Acharya Vithalnath to establish seat of Pushtimar cult at Garha, right? So these also very important question can be asked related to it. And she also was very effective leader and the military warrior, as she crushed rebellions according to Tariq-i Firishta, repelled the invasion of Baz Bahadur of Malwa in 1555 and 1560, right? So this is all about the personality in news, that is Rani Durgavati. Now we'll see the quick updates of this week, right? The first quick update of this week is related to the Ambumachi Mela, and this is very important. Question can be asked. What is the development? The 4-day Ambumachi Mela began in Assam's Kamakhya temple, right? So this is actually celebration of the goddess Kamakhya, right? But people actually do not respect women, as you might have heard the incidents from the Kamakhya Mela where people actually heard various bottle to a couple because they were trying to escape the crowd, right? So this kind of attitude people have, but this Mela is very important for us. So let's see. Kamakya temple is situated on the Lilachal hill in the Guwahati, Assam, and one of the most revered centers of tantric practices, and it is regarded as one of the 51 Shakti Pithas in India. So this is also very important. And about Ambumachi Mela, it marks the annual menstrual cycle of goddesses Kamakya, who is revered as the embodiment of the divine feminine creative energy. This is the one aspect. Then it begins with the Pravriti ritual, closes the temple sanctum to the public for the 3-day seclusion period, and concludes with the Nivritti ritual and purification before the reopening of the public for the public darshan. Right? So this is about the Ambumachi Mela. Now we'll see the next quick update of the day. Next quick update of the day is related to Kirthai 2 hydroelectric project, and the Forest Advisory Committee have given the in principle approval to the Kirthai 2 hydroelectric project in the Jammu and Kashmir. Right. So we'll see about the Kirthai 2. So Kirthai 2 is the third hydroelectric project planned on the Chenab River. Please remember the name Chenab River, to receive the approval since the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty. The other two reservoirs are Sialkot and the Dalhasti 2 projects. So these are the projects on the Chenab River. Please remember the names. UPSC can ask the names. And all these projects are in Jammu Kashmir. About Kirthai 2 hydroelectric project, HEP, its capacity is 820 megawatt, and it is the run of the river project. And what is the run of the river project? So project that generates the electricity using the natural flow and elevation of the river rather than the holding massive amount of water in the giant reservoir. So the flow of the river is continuous and elevation is used to generate the electricity, right? So instead of the big reservoir. So this is about it, and it will be implemented by the Chenab Valley Power Projects Limited. So this fact is not that important, but please remember the name of the project and the river, that is Chenab, and project is Kirthai 2 and also Sawalkote and Dalhasti 2, right? So this is about the second quick update of the day. Now we'll see the third quick update of the day, and the third quick update is related to Omega block. And what is the development? Western Europe is facing the deadly heat wave driven by the meteorological phenomena known as the Omega block. And what is the Omega block? So please see this thing. So this is the symbol of the omega, and why it is forming we'll see in the course of discussion. So what is the Omega block? So it is a type of feather block that resembles the Greek letters symbol omega, and blocks are areas of high pressure that remains nearly stationary and distort the usual eastward progression of the pressure system. So these are the planetary pressure systems, and Omega block occurs when the strong area of high pressure built up between the two zones of lower pressures. So this is the high pressure and these are the two lower pressures. Because of the high pressure, warm air rising from the ground cannot escape into the atmosphere. Instead, it traps close to the surface and causes the compression heaping. So what happens? Because of this high pressure, this air cannot be lifted upwards, and because the air cannot be lifted upwards, there will be heat, and that heat will be trapped to the lower level of the atmosphere, and there will be heating effect due to the Omega block, and it promotes widespread sinking of the air, which suppresses the cloud formation and leads to the prolonged intense sunshine. It also reduces the rainfall because the air cannot uplifted and then there cannot be a rain, and this is why it is the Omega block which leads to the intense heat waves in the Western Europe, right? This is all about the third quick update. Now we'll see the next quick update, and that is related to the Nirbhaya Chetna. As the name suggests, and you all know, Nirbhaya Chetna is related to the woman. So central roll out Nirbhaya Chetna to the sensitize the 17.5 lakh male elected representatives, and it is the flagship component of Nirbhaya Raho. And it was after the very infamous incident of the Nirbhaya rape case in the Delhi, right? So let's see about the Nirbhaya Chetna. So ministry is Ministry of Panchayati Raj and funded by the Nirbhaya Fund. And what are the components of the Nirbhaya Raho? So it is also component of Nirbhaya Raho, and Nirbhaya Raho had the various components such as Nirbhaya Chetna to sensitization of the male on the gender equality. It aims to create a cadre of 28,500 master trainers at the state, district and the block level to train the male elected representatives nationwide through the cascading training model. And then there is Nirbhay Netri, and it is a capacity building and legal literacy for the women leaders. And then thirdly, Nirbhay Drishti, strengthening the village level safety infrastructure. So these are the three components under the Nirbhay Raho scheme, right? I hope it is clear to you. Now we'll see the next quick update. Next quick update is Rakhi Gadi, and you might be knowing about it. Rakhi Gadi is very important site in the Harappan civilization. So what is the development? Human skeletal remains have been excavated from the Rakhi Gadi and have been formally handed over to the Anthropological Survey of India, ANSI, right? So let's see about the Rakhi Gadi. It is recognized as the largest known settlement of the Indus Saraswati Harappan civilization. And what is the location? In the Hisar district, Haryana, in the Ghaggar Hakra river plain, right? Then it represents continued habitation from early to mature Harappan period. So it had the long period of habitation. And then what are the key discoveries? So firstly, urban feature, planned settlements with the mud brick and burn brick houses drainage system was also present. Then there was trade. Cylindrical seals with the symbol of alligator is found here. Then there is industry such as ceramic industry represented by the red ware craft production centers. And then there is ritual system which are also evident here. Animal sacrificial pit, then triangular and circular fire altars and burial grounds are also found here. So please remember the UPSC have knack to ask the question related to Harappan civilization site. So this becomes very important in that aspect, right? Now we'll see the last quick update of the day. And last quick update of the day is Mansarovar Yatra and Nathula Pass. What is the development? So first batch of pilgrims cross into the China via Nathula Pass as the Kailas Mansarovar Yatra have begun. So let us see about the Nathula Pass. So it is the mountain pass located in the Himalayas, East Sikkim, right? So please remember that it is in the Himalayas and the range is Dongkya range of the Himalaya, right? Then the connects between Assam with the Tibet Autonomous Region, and its elevation is around 4,310 meter. Now we'll see about the Mansarovar Yatra. It is a holy pilgrimage in the Western Himalayas ranges of the Tibet Autonomous Region and conducted annually April to October through the two different routes. And which are these two routes? Lipulek Pass, which is in Uttarakhand, and Nathula Pass, which is in Sikkim. So this have started from the Nathula Pass in the Sikkim, and includes Mount Kailas, highest peak in the Kailas ranges, Lake Mansarovar, world's highest freshwater lake, and it is religious and cultural significance because it is very important for the Hindu, Jain and Buddhist religions, right? So all these three religions consider it as a holy for their religions. So that is why Mount Kailas is very important, and this is all about the quick updates also. This is all about this week's weekly roundup. I hope it is very helpful. To read more about the current affairs, you can visit Vision's digital current affair portal, where you can solve various quizzes and also read various documents such as monthly magazine, and also PT 365 and mains 365, which is very important for your mains preparation, who for the candidates who are giving the exam this year, and also to the candidates who are planning to give the exam next year. This is all about for the day. This is all. Thank you. Happy learning.